What's going on, y'all? It's the Caveman back at it again with another video. And it's Saturday. Buffalo Bills go to Arizona to play the Arizona Cardinals in Week 10. And I've been saying it time and time again, but this is the biggest game of the year so far. I get it. Yes, Seattle was at that time too. We won that game. You forget about it. Now we move on to the next biggest game. This is the toughest stretch that we are going to have this entire season between Seattle. I mean, the Patriots were involved in that stretch at first, but then they kind of faded away. But Seattle, then Arizona, and then we play Pittsburgh in I think 2 weeks or so. We have a tough stretch here, and we're in the middle of it, and we just blew one of the teams out. Like, we blew one of the best teams out of the water. Like, we shocked the fuck out of them, and we got to be able to go into Sunday and do the same thing in order to prove that we are the team we think we are. That's not what this video is about. This video is about wide receiver John Brown that we have had for a couple of years now. He was on the team last year. He was the number 1 wide receiver last year. He had him and Cole Beasley. Other than that, we really didn't have anything else. Good route runner. He's a very fast, deep threat. He's a very good wide receiver. He's probably a low-end wide receiver 1. He's much better off being the wide receiver 2, as we have seen this year. Having to not have him be the number 1 focus of a defense is just allowing him to flourish a lot more, and I've been saying that since the beginning of the year. I've been predicting that, in my opinion, John Brown will have a very, very good year compared to past years, just for the simple fact that he won't be the focus. So with the prediction being said, I always thought to myself, like, throughout these weeks so far, what would we be without John Brown? Like, I've always thought that we needed John. Obviously, any Bills fan is going to sit here and say, of course we need John Brown. We all love John Brown. We need John Brown. I mean, you're not going to sit here and say we're going to be better off without him. That's just a stupid statement. But I think he's actually more important to this offense and the way defenses scheme against our offense than to what meets the eye. So I started to think of this kind of trend last year when DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller were on the same football team still in Houston. Now, I had always thought that team is a better offense when Will Fuller is playing. He's had a history of injury issues that kept him off the field a lot when DeAndre Hopkins was there. This year he's been relatively healthy. Knock on wood, I hope he's doing very well over there as a number 1 wide receiver. He really is. But that offense needed Will Fuller in order to have DeAndre Hopkins to succeed and for that offense to explode, because Will Fuller has the ability to shut the field and take the top off the defense, and that cannot be ignored. Going into this year, I kind of thought, John Brown has the capability to do that for Stephon Diggs in this offense, and I felt like it was kind of the same dynamic. Like, John Brown has the capability of blowing the top off a defense, so defenses can't ignore that, and I feel like it's that tandem that is very dangerous for us that I think is actually the key to our passing success here in 2020 so far. I wanted to wait, I thought it would be the same thing going to the year, and I wanted to wait a few games to see, like, is this going to come to fruition? Am I going to just be talking crazy, or is this actually going to be a thing? So we are in Week 10, or we're going into Week 10, and I feel like I have enough solidified, solid evidence to make the claim that, yeah, John Brown is actually the key to our success when passing the ball, especially this year with the way Josh Allen is playing. And not only do I feel like I have proof of this, but I have proof of when he isn't playing too, because John Brown also has been hurt this year, just as Will Fuller was when he played with DeAndre Hopkins and the Texans last year. So the first 4 weeks, we were averaging 32.5 points per game and had about a 16.25 points per half average at the time through those first 4 weeks. The offense was playing out of their mind. We were passing the ball all over teams like it was nobody's business. We made Miami's defense, who has come to be one of the top defenses in the league, look absolutely silly. We made the Rams look silly. We put the Rams on notice. We also put the Raiders, who are a good team, on notice. We were beating good football teams, and we were putting up a lot of points, a lot of passing yards, and our offense was exploding in those first 4 weeks. So John Brown was there for every half except for the second half of the Rams game. Every other game, we did not have a stalling point like we did. I'm talking about in those first 4 weeks. We did not have a stalling point like we did in the second half of that Rams game. The offense did not struggle through those first 4 weeks as bad as they did against the Rams. As you know, we almost blew like a 30-point lead against the Rams in the second half. What was the changing factor? John Brown was out for that second half of the game. That's when he tweaked his calf. That was the first time he actually got injured in this season. What happened in the second half of that football game? We started a 30-point lead, and the offense became basically nothing, as is the defense. That's just a different story. But the offense basically was struggling to even move the ball and get a first down. We had barely scored the 14 points we scored in that second half. We got the last 7 points on the final drive to win the game. So, I mean, we basically struggled on offense the entire second half, and that changing factor was John Brown. After just blowing teams out in the first 3 weeks, including the first half of that game, John Brown was there. He was gone in that second half. All of a sudden, the offense just became inept. Week 4 against the Raiders, we once again put up 30 points. John Brown felt good enough. He could play that game. He played that game fully healthy, put up a decent amount of stats, and he played that game. We put up 30 points. We really didn't struggle in that game either. So a trend I started to notice is, like, The only half John Brown didn't play in those first 4 weeks when we were exploding was the half that we struggled the most on offense. So we went into week 5. John Brown misses week 5. His calf is bothering him again. I'm not sure if he tweaked it more in the Raiders game or if he just kind of hurt it in practice. Nevertheless, John Brown did not play in the Titans game. The Bills put up a mere 16 points when we were averaging double that in the first 4 weeks. The Bills put up 16 points. No John Brown. The offense in that game just looked absolutely embarrassing, as is the defense. Once again, a different story. But the offense, once again, just was not the same offense that we had seen in those first 4 weeks when John Brown was playing. So John Brown misses the Tennessee game. He plays the Kansas City game. I really wasn't able to, I couldn't remember off the top of my head if he had played that full game. But nevertheless, there were reports throughout the week that he got to like Thursday or Friday and then he finally practiced in full. But the whole week, like leading up to that Kansas City game, he had not really been practicing at all. He was limited practicing. Then he got to Thursday, maybe Friday, and he practiced in full finally. But I firmly believe he was not fully healthy for that Kansas City game. And once again, he played in that game. He had 4 targets, put up no stats. I think a healthy John Brown is going to put up stats. You know, he just is. And he did not really do anything. He only had 4 targets. That tells me that John Brown was not a healthy John Brown for that game. So pretty much take him out of that game for the offense again. The offense stalls. There's no offense in that Kansas City game really at all. We put up 17 points after just putting up 16 when John Brown didn't play. John Brown wasn't fully healthy for Kansas City. Not really anything to show for on offense again. Obviously, John Brown wasn't healthy in that Kansas City game because then he doesn't play against the Jets. We beat the Jets. You know, we did. But the offense did not do much. The offense did not show out. We only kicked field goals that whole entire time. And another offensive week where we just struggled. 3 straight weeks in a row. John Brown basically has been erased from the offense due to injury or just not being fully healthy in the Kansas City game. He hasn't been there, and the offense struggles absolutely completely. Absolutely completely. That doesn't even make any sense. So, yeah, 3 straight weeks. No John Brown, no offense. Come to the next week against the Patriots. This game, I'm not even going to, the Patriots were a team that just couldn't stop the run, and they just wanted to make sure Josh Allen wasn't throwing the ball. Brian Daboll knew that. The game plan was to run the ball 300 times. Nobody did anything through the air in that game whatsoever. It was all the ground game. I mean, you really can't deny that. To be fair, the Patriots were playing against to stop the long ball from Josh Allen. That's exactly what they came out to play against, whether that was circulated around John Brown or Diggs or whatever the fact. They didn't want Josh Allen throwing the ball at all, so all we did was run the ball. Then we come into the last week against Seattle. We explode on offense. John Brown had a great game. He went for 8 for 73 at 11 targets. Now, that's a healthy John Brown. He was there and he was making things happen. Like, he's on the field making things happen, and it stretches out the defense. He is just so important. And then we put up 44 points against the Seahawks. I get it. Their defense sucks ass. But John Brown played. John Brown was healthy. John Brown was impactful. You can't deny the impact that John Brown has. It is literally the same situation that Diggs and John Brown have compared to what DeAndre Hopkins and Will Fuller had. It's the same situation. Defenses have no choice but to script around the deep ball because John Brown will beat corners downfield if he's left alone. That allows for the underneath game, the mid-range game, to get open. Brown's speed, John Brown's capability, deep route running downfield, it is just, you can't ignore it. You cannot ignore it. He's a good enough receiver that you have to pay attention to it. It's not like he's a Mecole Hardman or something like that where all he is fast. John Brown is a good, skilled receiver. He will blow the top off a defense. So with him in the game, it allows so much more to happen through the passing game when teams have no choice but to focus on that long ball. So what I'm pretty much saying is John Brown is the key to our offense this year. John Brown is the key to passing the ball for Josh Allen and how we play against, how defenses play against us. Without John Brown, the field becomes so much smaller to defend for the opposing defense against the Bills. Without John Brown, all they have to really worry about is Stephon Diggs. Cole Beasley, he really doesn't go much farther than, midway downfield when he, from the line of scrimmage. He doesn't go more than maybe 10, 15 yards at the most. Like, he's a short route guy for the most part. And then Diggs, all they have to worry about is Diggs. John Brown is needed in this offense for the offense to succeed. And I think the proof is in the pudding. When he plays, the offense explodes, especially the passing game. When he doesn't play, the offense struggles. The offense they really can't get anything going. There's no passing game. The run game really hasn't been there all year. So if there's no, John Brown is the key to this offense. I'm not sure what else there needs to be said. Like, the proof is literally there. I just love that the Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins thing is it's just a perfect example of how it carries over here. So I felt like I had sufficient proof to make this video. Let me know whether or not you agree. This will probably be something I follow up on as the year goes on. I feel like, we're halfway through the season. I think it's I think that's a pretty decent amount of time to take what your sample size and to make that kind of hypothesis, that kind of claim. So at the end of the year, we'll see how the team progresses, whether John Brown plays or not, if he gets hurt, how that impacts the offense as we go on through the weeks. But that'll be a video that I make down the road. Let me know what you guys think down below. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. We're going to kick Arizona's ass tomorrow. I cannot wait. We're going to go to Arizona and beat them up in the desert. Let's fucking go. Like, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And I'll see y'all later. Peace.